Hi, my name is Tiana Karamayas and I'm a Cavoodle puppy coach and breeder for Noodle Way and River City puppies. As a coach, my philosophy is simple. A Cavoodle should always complement your lifestyle, not complicate it. And this is the foundation to everything I teach. For almost the past decade, I have been working in the breeding, training, grooming, and veterinary sectors of the small animal industry. I've also been raising Cavoodles for the past 16 years, so I have definitely learned a thing or two about the breed along the way. Now this podcast is all about Cavoodles. Raising Cavoodles, training Cavoodles, grooming Cavoodles, breeding Cavoodles, and how to shape the behaviour of a Cavoodle puppy. So, if you're a Cavoodle parent or you are looking at adding a Cavoodle to your family soon, then this podcast is for you. New episodes will be released each Tuesday morning, and you can follow me across all social media under the name @OodleWay for more tips and advice on Cavoodles. Thanks for tuning in. Hello and welcome back to the Cavoodle Coach Podcast. My name is Tiana Karamayas and I'm your host and your Cavoodle puppy coach. And in today's episode, I want to talk about a question I received earlier this week from a couple looking at getting a puppy. And their question was, a Cavoodle puppy to be exact, and their question was whether or not it's a good idea to get a Cavoodle puppy if you work full-time hours outside of the house, both partners working full-time hours outside of the house. And this is I think a very common question because so many of us obviously want to get a dog. They are amazing family members to have. They offer so much companionship, but sometimes our schedules aren't the best schedules to have for a Cavoodle in particular. Every breed of dog requires different things from their family, different levels of attention, different mental enrichment, different physical enrichment, different time, if they're an outside dog, an inside dog, whatever the case. And for Cavoodles, they are such a people dog. And what I mean by that is they just want to be around you all the time. And when they don't get enough time with you, they can really suffer from anxiety, primarily separation anxiety. And they can also suffer from a lot of boredom-led behaviors. And so if you are working full-time every day of the week, 5 days a week, 8 till 5, everyone's out of the house, it is not the best environment to have a Cavoodle in because your Cavoodle is going to have that anxiety, they're going to have all of that boredom, and they're going to have all of these adrenaline rushes throughout the day because of these intense emotions. And when they have these intense emotions and they have that adrenaline rush because of the anxiety and the boredom, what's going to happen then is the puppy is going to want to work through these emotions and they're going to have no control over how their body chooses to work through them. And some of the most common ways that a puppy is going to work through these emotions is through crying. They bark a lot. They might be digging, chewing on furniture, ripping apart toys, refusing to eat and drink, having toileting accidents everywhere, having excessive energy, and just all over being unable to regulate and control their emotions. And so when you're at work, your puppy is stressing, your puppy is being naughty, not because the puppy is purposely being naughty, but because they have no control over their body when they feel this intense anxiety and boredom. And then when you get home, because they have spent an entire day in this really intense state of emotional overload, what's going to happen is you're going to come home and they're going to continue to have these adrenaline rushes and they're going to continue these behaviors when you're home. And so they'll be barking at you, they'll be crying at you every time you leave the room, they'll be jumping all over your legs, trying to bite your toes and your hair and your fingers, and you're going to feel like you have the worst behaved puppy in the world. And it's not because they're trying to be naughty, but it's because it's not the right lifestyle for a Cavoodle puppy and also a Cavoodle adult. Cavoodles are the type of dog that needs to be involved in your life as much as possible. So I very rarely recommend a Cavoodle go to a family who works 5 days a week, full-time hours outside of the house. If you work maybe part-time and you have to go to work part-time hours during the week and you get to spend half the week outside of the house, but half the week you can be at home, or you can take your Cavoodle with you, this is a different story. This can be manageable. But full-time hours every week is not going to be the best environment for a Cavoodle, and it's not going to meet their needs, and it's not going to make them feel happy and fulfilled and relaxed and loved. And that's just simply the case with the Cavoodle breed, a breed that is so highly people focused and people orientated. So if you are looking to get a Cavoodle, it's really important you have a good think about your lifestyle. You have a good think about what you can provide to your puppy, and you have a really good think about whether or not your decision to get a puppy is perhaps more of a selfish reason versus a reason that's actually going to give the puppy the best life possible. Because at the end of the day, we never want a puppy to be feeling all this anxiety. We never want them to be feeling bored or abandoned. And we never want them to live a life where they don't actually get to experience much of life. We want them to be able to be involved with what we're doing around us, feeling very happy, very enriched. And this is going to give you also the best behaved Cavoodle, because when they feel enriched and they feel happy and fulfilled, they are going to want to listen to you. They're going to have better control over all of their emotions. They're not going to have those intense emotions and those adrenaline rushes. And so overall, you'll have a really well-behaved dog who is calm and relaxed and is going to seamlessly fit into your lifestyle. But again, that lifestyle needs to be one where the dog can be included in it as much as possible, and full-time work hours is not the best kind of environment for a Cavoodle puppy or a Cavoodle adult. Now, there are always ways around it if you do work full-time hours. There might be friends or family members who can look after, your Cavoodle a few days a week. When you have an older Cavoodle, you can look into like pet sitters, dog walkers, other things like that, which can be helpful. But also at the end of the day, these people are great and they're going to help with your Cavoodle, but your Cavoodle is still going to be missing you, and they're going to be craving that time with you. And so when you do come home, even if they've been with other people during the day, they're still going to be really craving your attention, and they're going to be acting out because of this, and they're going to be seeking it. And because they get such a short time with you at night before they go to bed, they're not going to really get that full fulfillment. So while it is possible to get help elsewhere and it can make it a situation that can work out, it's still not going to be the type of situation where your Cavoodle feels fully fulfilled, because they pick their person, they pick their family, and they want to spend that time with you. So hopefully everything I've said in this episode has given you some things to think about. Hopefully you're able to reflect on your lifestyle a little bit more and see whether or not you can fit a Cavoodle into your lifestyle, whether or not there's any flexibility with your work to do some work from home, or maybe your workplace can have dogs go there. Some places do that and it's amazing. Maybe you can talk to friends and family and see whether or not they would be willing to have your Cavoodle, a few days a week consistently going forward, just to make sure your Cavoodle is not sitting at home alone all day, every day. And you can just see if this is going to work out for you. Obviously, this podcast is dedicated to Cavoodles, so I have so many episodes in this podcast talking about what you need to provide to a Cavoodle on a daily basis, how to manage their emotions, how to properly train them, how to make sure they're not anxious dogs, not anxious in public. So I definitely recommend having a listen back to some of the other episodes if you're thinking about getting a Cavoodle. It's really, really helpful to get a good idea on what you need to provide to a Cavoodle before you get one, because we never want to be in a situation where we have this puppy and we can't meet their needs. Now, if you've listened to this episode and you're like, yes, Tiana, I'm not working full time. I can spend a lot of time with my puppy. I'm going to do it. I'm going to get a Cavoodle. This is wonderful. I am so excited for you. They really are the best dogs in the world. And they're going to be the best decision you ever make if you decide to get one. And of course, if you are getting one and you're looking into training options, definitely have a look in the show notes of this episode and have a read up about my Cavoodle Training Academy, because this is a program specifically for Cavoodles. It's not for any other breeds. It's made for the Cavoodles and the way that they think and behave and act, and making sure that each day you are doing the right training with your puppy to properly set them up so that they are calm, well-behaved, well-socialized, not anxious, and you also get them into a really good routine where all of their needs are met, which means all of the barking and the crying and the digging and the toileting accidents and the sleepless nights decrease because the puppy is feeling fulfilled. And this is all delivered in a 4-week program, and each day for those 4 weeks, I have created daily training schedules showing you what to do each hour of the day with your puppy in terms of the training, the sleep, the socializing, the enrichment, the desensitization. And then by the end of the program, your Cavoodle is in a perfect routine and they've achieved everything you need them to when they are a puppy. So I'd love to have you in the program. The link is in the show notes. Have a read up about it. If you have questions about the program, you can send me an email at hello@oodleway.co. I'm happy to help and let you know if it's the right program for you. And hopefully I'll be able to welcome some of you in there. But that's it for this week's episode. I hope you have enjoyed it, and I'll see you next week for another episode of the Cavoodle Coach Podcast. All right, this has been your Cavoodle Coach, Tiana Karamaias. I'll see you later. Bye.